Good morning. Today we're learning about mציעא Daf Base. We're going to start from the Mishnah on Aleph Amud Base. So we spoke about the first Mishnah, the last Mishnah. We spoke about oino, meaning if Reuven sells an item to Shimon over price or under price. And now we're talking about coins. When someone gives someone a coin for a transaction or whatever reason it is, and the coin doesn't have its full value because it's missing from its gold or its silver or its copper. Because back in the days, money had actual value, not like today that it's just a belief. But they took it so far nowadays that even you have cryptocurrencies that's just belief of people, not even of a country. But then they actually had the value. So if I give a coin, it had the value of the gold on it. So how much is it missing that's considered or no, that's considered the person could get back his money or could cancel his transaction, etc. Says the Mishnah. How much will a coin of a fella be missing and it doesn't have oino? That means until this amount it doesn't have oino. More than that it is oino. If a coin of a seller is missing 4 isrin, that comes out isra dinner, because in each seller there's 4 dinrim, so 1 isra for each dinner. Then, until then, it's not oino. More than that, it's oino. And how much is that? That's 1 in 24. Rabbi Yehuda oima, arba pidyonis, double the amount. Pudyon dinner, so double of a pudyon is 2 isrim. So not isa, 2 isrim for dinner. So it comes out pudyon dinner. It comes out 1 in 12. So 1 in 12. Until then, it's no oino. More than that, it's oino. Rabbi Shimon oima, shmoine pudyonis. It's half that. Half of 12 is a 6th. No, 1 in 12, 1 in 6. Shnei pudyonim ledina. It comes out for each dinner of a seller, it's 2 pudyon, and that's a 6. And that's like talis, it's a shtus lamekach. Ad mosai mutalachze. So by a talis, we said you could give it back until ad sheyare latago or lekroivo. Here we're saying ad mosai mutalachze, so we say depends. Bekrochim in big cities, ad sheyare leshuchani, enough time they could go to the money changer and ask him, is this a good coin or not? The kfarim in villages where they don't have a money changer, ad Aryeh Shabbos is until Erev Shabbos, where you go use the money and then you go to the market and someone will tell you, oh, I'm not accepting this money, it has too little in it. So then you could come, until then you could come back and get a better coin. Imo Makira, if the guy recognizes it, and Gemara is going to explain it's talking about Chassid that is willing to do lifnei mishras adin, afilu lachar 12 chodesh mekable imeno. Even after 12 months, he'll accept it from him. Ve'en lo olov elo taroimis. And the Gemara is going to explain this is talking about the guy who's not willing to accept it after the time the Torah gave a limitation. He doesn't have, all he could have is taroimis, no more than that. It says, continue the Mishnah, a coin that has oino in it, you could put the fruit of Ma'aser Sheni on such a coin. And you don't have to be choishesh, and the Gemara is going to explain that if you could change it for the full value or for the value that it has now. Because someone who won't accept such a coin for its lower value that it has is a stingy person. So therefore, it's not really not valuable. It's just a stingy person. So therefore, you're allowed to use it to be put the Ma'aser Sheni on it. Correct the Gemara, we have a stira, veruminhi, ad kamotea selachasera, ve'yeh boino. And then the Brisa continues and says the amount of our Mishnah. But in the Brisa it says, ad kamotea selachasera, ve'yeh boino, it will have oino. In our Mishnah it says, and it won't have oino. That means in our Mishnah is mashma, then let's say the first shitta that's 1 in 24, then until 1 in 24 there's no oino, only more than 1 in 24 there's oino. And in the Brisa that has the same shittis, it says and will be oino, is mashma that 1 in 24 it is oino. So what's pshat? It's a stira. Amar popoloi kasha, it's not kasha. Tona didon, our Mishnah, kochoshim mimato lemalo. It starts from what's not oino, meaning 1 in 30 is not oino, 1 in 29 is not oino, 1 in 28 is no oino, until 1 in 24, then it is oino. So we start from what's not oino until what's oino, and then And when we say until 1 in 24, it means v'lo yad bichlal, without 1 in 24, because 1 in 24 is oino already. The Tana Baro, the Tana outside, that means of the Brisa, kochoshi milemalo lemato. It starts from worth missing. If it's missing 1 in 20, 1 in 21, 1 in 23, 1 in 24, all that is oino. And it's ve'ad bechlal. Until 1 in 24, it is oino. More than that means it's missing less than 1 in 24, only 1 in 25, then it's not oino. So it comes out that both shittas are the same, that 1 in 24, or 1 in 12, or 1 in 6, each one a shittosoi, that is oino. Anything more than that, and anything more than that is oino. Anything less than that is not oino. And the Mishnah is saying, v'lo yad bechlal, and the Brayta says, is ve'ad bechlal. And that Rashi adds on, because otherwise he didn't answer the kasha. Says more. Why in the Mishnah of Sela of a coin there's a machloikes tanoim how much is oino? Betalis, when we came to Talis in the last Mishnah of oino, there's no machloikes. Everyone says a shtus, or maybe Ratafan says more than a shtus, but no one says 1 in 12, 1 in 24. What's the difference? Omar Rova man tana Talis Rab Shimon. Says Rova, enochinami. Our Mishnah of coins says that Rab Shimon holds the 1 in a 6 is oino. So that's the Mishnah before that we said the shtus is oino. It's the same shit. It's Rab Shimon and enochinami. Rab Meir and Rab Yudah or choylek over here who say 1 in 24 and 1 in 12. They also argue over there, but over there they never spoke in the Mishnah. That's why we never mentioned their shitta. Abaye Omar no. Talis is different to a coin. Why? Talis adshtus until a 6. Even Rameh and Rabbi Yehuda, who hold here that's 1 in 12 or 1 in 24, they agree that by talis it's until a 6. Why? Adshtus mochin inish a person's moichel. The Amri Inchi people say oshik legaboch. Oshik means like oishek. Oh, you could pay overprice to buy something to wear. That means if you're buying a cloak or something, it doesn't matter to pay a bit over the price because it's something that you could use. But to buy something to eat, you should only pay its value because it comes and goes, but the coat stays. A coin, since you can't use it, since it doesn't circulate in the market, he's no moichel. If it works, if I could use it in the shop, I don't mind to be moichel, even if it has a bit less of its weight. But once it came to a circumstance that you can't use it anymore because it's lost its weight, so what will I do with it? A coat, okay, overpriced. At the end of the day, when it's raining, I have a coat. But if I have a coin that I can't use, I don't want that. So that's the difference between the Mishnah of Talis and the Mishnah of money, of coins. Gufa, we learned Ad Kamatea Selachasera, the brisa that we brought at the top, we only brought the beginning, and now we're going to bring the whole brisa. Israel Ladina, like we said in the Mishnah, that's 1 in 24. Rabbi Yehuda Dalit Pidyonis Pudyon Ladina, that's 1 in 12. Rabbi Shimon Shmoyne Pidyonis Shnei Pidyonis Ladina, 2 Pidyonis for each dinner, that's a 6. Yes, Al-Kain, more than that. What does that mean more than that? So Rashi explains, and we're going to explain it later on when we explain this price. So it means if it was less a loss in value, that means not, let's say if you're a mayor, 1 in 24, so it was 1 in 25. It didn't lose the amount of oino. Moicher b'shovya, you could sell it as if it's a full good coin, even though that's missing, because it's all missing only a very little bit. It's considered a full good coin as if it's a seller, even though that's missing a little bit. Ad kama tipoches v'yerasha lekaimo. If it went more than that, that means more than the oino. How much are you allowed to keep this coin that people won't cheat with it? Besela, if it's a seller, at shekel, until half its value. But more than half of a value, people won't recognize anymore, and you could use it, people could cheat and use it as a shekel, even though they lost more than half its value. So therefore, until half its thickness or half its weight, you could keep it and use it as a shekel. But more than that, you're not allowed to keep it. Bedina, now it doesn't say over here a shekel until a dinner. We skip how much a shekel could lose, and we're going to see soon in the Gemara about that. Bedina, if we're talking about a dinner, you could keep it until roiva, until a quarter of it, and now I understand it means a quarter of a dinner, and obviously we're going to ask soon what's the difference that by a seller you can keep it until a half and a dinner until a quarter. If it's less than that, it's a asa. Now we don't know what that's going on because we said until a half, not you don't need the esa more than a half, but we'll see the Gemara is going to discuss that. But we're saying about something they lost more than esa, then it's asa. Aryeh, if it's a bad coin, loin kurena loy letago, don't sell it to a merchant. Veloy lecharam, not someone who forces you. Anos veloy learog, and not someone who kills and you give him money to say, because then they're going to use this money and say it's a full value, and people will be scared of them and will accept it, and therefore you're not allowed to give it to them. Because they cheat other people with it. Ella, what should you do with it? Ikveno, you should make a hole in it. Veitleno, and you make a betzava bnoy or betzava bitoy, and make a bracelet, a necklace for his son or his daughter. You could see from this Gemara that the kids in those days, even the boys, would wear jewelry. Omar. Okay, until here, the end of the brisa. Now we're going to go discuss this brisa in depth. Omar, besela shekel, bedina droiva. Says the Gemara, what's the difference? A besela shekel, only half the amount, then only half, more than half, you're not allowed to keep it. Umaishno bedina adroiva, they can keep it until a quarter of a dinner. What's the difference? Omar Abaye, my roiva diktoni. When it says roiva, it means roiva the shekel. It means a quarter of a shekel, and that's half a dinner. And therefore, it's the same amount, like a sela until half, also a dinner until half. And when we say roiva, we mean a roiva of that double of the amount of the coin, and therefore it's a half of this coin that we're talking about. Omar Rova, Dekinami, I'll bring you a raya that roiva means a quarter of the higher coin of shekel. The kotoni roiva, because it says a roiva. Roiva is like it's like an amount that people would use to say a roiva shekel, and therefore it makes sense that it's a shekel. Veloy kotoni revia, if we would say a quarter means a quarter of the coin that we're talking about. If it means a roiva dinner, we would say revia, a quarter of it. Why does it say a loshon of roiva? Because it means no, not quarter of it. A quarter, when we use a quarter, it's a quarter of a shekel. Shema mino. Okay, very good, I understood. Now I understand that a selah is until half and a dinner is until half. But Tzedek kasha. Why, when we're talking about dinner losing its value, we depend it on a quarter of a shekel? Why don't we depend it on a dinner itself? Like in a seller, we depend it on the coin itself. Why by dinner we change a coin? It wants to tell you something, by the way, because we said a seller until a half and we said a dinner until a half, but the middle coin, a shekel, we never said its value until how much it could lose. It's coming to tell you, by the way, the ikka dinner, that you could have a dinner, the osim shekel, that comes from a shekel that's double a dinner, that got robbed off so much until it's half a value, it becomes a dinner and you're allowed to use it. So the Gemara Messiah, Rav Ami, that's a right, or Rav Ami Doma, Rav Ami dinner about shekel, a dinner that's lost its value and it came half its value like a shekel, mutalekaimer, you could keep it. But dinner about Mesela, dinner that comes from a seller, that's a quarter of a, because there's 4 dinerim in a seller and it became like a quarter, also lekaimer, you're not allowed to keep it and you have to make it into a bracelet, or like we're going to see. It said in the brisa, pochos mikan esa asa. If it lost more than esa, more than this amount, it's asa. Said the Gemara, my karma, what are we talking about? You can't be talking about where the coin lost half its value, because then we said by half its value it's also to keep it. Why would you need the extra issa on top of that? It doesn't make any sense. So Amar Abai Ochu Koma, this is chat in the brisa. Pochsa sela yoisemich deoino issa. If a seller lost after it's oino, that means we said how much is a seller. Oh no, we had the machlokes in the Mishnah, all 1 in 12, all 1 in 24, 1 in 12, 1 in 6. So if it lost more than that value, issa more than that, then it's also to use it. Omale Abai, Omale Rov told Abai, it doesn't make sense. Yochi, if so, afilu mashunami, even a little bit more than a 6, even a 6 itself, or even a 12, or even a 24, it's also to use it. Why do you need the extra issa on top of that? It doesn't make any sense. Why would you need the extra issa on that? Elo Marova, Pochsa Sela Issa, Ledina also, Vestomaker Amer. The end of the Mishnah wants to tell you that we go in Stomaler Amer. Amer in the Mishnah holds that's 1 in 24. And it wants to tell you a Stam Mishnah, a Stam Brisa, and it's telling you that if a seller lost Issa, and it means Issa Ledina, that means 1 in 24, then it's Asa, because that's 1 in 24 that you're not allowed to use a coin if you shit as Rameh. And therefore the Brisa makes sense. Now also, we learned elsewhere, seller shenifselo, a coin of a seller that got lost its value with kino, and he decided to use it as a weight. So now let's say something just to understand. Today that keli should be mikabel tuma, something to mikabel tuma has to be a keli. So if it's a coin, it's potentially could be mikabel tuma if tuma touches it. But if it's lost its value of a coin, so it's just a piece of metal, a piece of silver, it's not mikabel tuma. But if you have this coin that became less than its value, so it's not mikabel tuma, but now you decided to use it as a weight. Back in the day, they had weights, one against each other. You'd put on a kilo here, and then you'd put fruit, a kilo on the other side, and when it would be level, you know you have a kilo. So you have this coin that got cancelled, and you want to use it as a weight. So once you use it as a weight, you're making it a keli. So now it's tuma. It doesn't mean it's tuma straight away. It means it's possible to be mikabel tuma. So again, now awesome. Seller shenifselo v'tkino shoykel shiye shoykel b'mishkoilus adin is tmeo it's roy lekabel tuma. Ad kama tifchas, how much does it lose from its value? V'yir rasha lekaima, they allowed to still keep it as a weight or whatever you want to use it as. Lesela, if it's a seller shnei dinorim, half. Or more than half, you're not allowed. Pochis miken, less than a half, yokut, you should cut it. Yesel kemai, what's the din if it's more than a half, says the Gemara. Omar Rav Huna, pochis miken, yokut. Like less than a half, you have to cut it. Yesel ken yokut, even more than a half, you have to cut it. And then we're going to see soon, the Gemara, how does it make sense? How did it get to half? A half you're allowed to keep. How did it get to half if more than you have to cut? We're going to see that in Omid Beis. Rav Ami Omar, no, pochos miken yokut, it's less than a half, you have to cut it. Yes, al kain, but if it's more than a half, you could keep it and you could use it as a lower coin. We have a kasha on the shita who says that more than a half, you have to cut it. It says, yes, al kain, we learned in the Brisa, yes, al kain, morchir b'shovyo. You sell it at its value. My love, what does it mean, yes, al kain? So they lost more than 1 in 6, let's say, if you that shita, and it's less than a half. Let's say lost 1 in 5, a fifth. It's still less than a half, and it says that you could sell it for its value, and we're saying you have to cut it. It doesn't make sense. So the Gemara, no, loy. Yisera, when it means Yisera, it means dakati loy pochso. So it didn't come to 6 yet. He only lost 1 in 7. Then Moichu B'Shavi, you could sell it for its value. But if you lost more than 6, you have to cut it. Meisive, we have another kasha. Ad kamotifchas, how much can a coin lose? Via Rasha Lekaiman, you could keep it. Besela, in a seller at shekel. If you have a seller until a shekel, that's half a seller. My love, are we not talking about the pochis proto? I lost a little by little, and we say you could keep it until half. So you could see, you can't tell me more than a half, you have to cut it. It says over here, they lost little by little, and afilu achi, you're allowed to keep it. Says the Gemara, lo, it's talking about the nofila nura, it fell into the fire. If it fell into the fire and it lost half its value, then you could keep it. More than that, you can't keep it. But if that, because it happened in one bang, but if it happened slowly, once it passed the amount, you have to destroy it, because you could cheat with it. But if you got in one time until half, you could use it, because you could use it as a coin that's half its value, and people will recognize, because they lost enough, that people could recognize that it's not the big value. Omar Mar, we learned before, you should make a hole in it, and he put it in the neck of his son, I have a kasha, lo yasem mishkol be mishkoloisov. You can't use it as a weight. Don't put it between your pieces of silver, of gold. You should make a hole. You should make a necklace out of it. So it's to what we said before, that you're allowed to make a necklace out of it. Elo, we'll see the teretz soon. It continues the brisa. Elo, what should you do with it? Elo, or you rub off the king off the coin, and therefore it won't be a coin anymore. Or yotuch, or you should melt it and make a jewelry out of it, or whatever you want. Or yokut, or destroy it. Or yolich le'am or throw it into the Dead Sea where it's going to get destroyed. So it's a steer. In one place it says you can use it as a necklace. In one place it says you can't use it as a necklace. Amar Rabbi Elazar, v'amar lo Rav Huna, Amar Rabbi Elazar. Two good sources. Or Rabbi Elazar said it, or Rav Huna said it in the name of Rabbi Elazar. Loi kashya, kan ba'emtza, kan min hatzad, depends. If you want to make a hole in the middle and make it as a necklace, no problem. But if you want to make a hole on the side of the coin and use it as a necklace, then it's a problem because someone who's a cheater might take this coin, rub it out at the side until it won't have a hole in it anymore, and then it'll look like a good coin, and then you'll use it as a coin. So therefore, that's forbidden. But if you make a hole bang in the middle where you can't rub out the hole, then there's no problem. Ad Motzai Mutalach, we learned in the Mishnah, until when can you give it back? Bekrochim in big cities, Ad She'ar L'Shuchani, until he showed it to a money changer. Bekforim in villages, Ad Aryeh Shabbos, until he uses it for Shabbos to buy fish or whatever he needs to buy on Shabbos, and then they'll tell him, oh, it's not good coin. So then he goes back to the guy, gives it to him, and says, you gave me a bad coin. Says the Gemara, why is it different, Besela, when we talk about coin, the maflig, that we make a difference between krochim and villages? Umayshno betalis, when we spoke about talis, we said we didn't say a difference if you're living in a village or in a city. Kitnan masisim betalis, when we spoke in the Mishnah of talis that says it's talking about bekrochim. It's only talking about big cities, but in a village, you'll have more time to come back and complain about this overpriced item. Rova Omar, no. Talis is a difference. Talis, even in a village, people know how much is worth a talis, how much a coat, a jumper, a shirt is worth, and therefore you could show it to a shopkeeper in the village or to your friend in the village and ask him if you paid overpriced. But Selaba for a coin, given the lav kol inish kimle begave, not everyone are experts about coins. Ela shruchani, only a money changer. Hilkoch, therefore, bekrochim in big cities, the ika shruchani, where you have a money changer, until you have enough time to go to the shulchani and ask him if it's a good coin or not. The kfarim in villages, the leka shulchani, where there's no money changer, until Erev Shabbos, the salk in the shukah, that they go to the market and they can see if it has value or not. Therefore, Rava says there's an actual difference between a talis and a coin, because talis everyone knows the value, and by coin only experts know the value of the coin. We learned in the Mishnah, if you recognize it, he accepts it back. Heicha, where are we talking about? If we're talking about big cities or we said until you could go to a money changer, that could be an hour or two, not 12 months. If we're talking about the villages, or Omris, he said Ad Aryeh Shabbos is still Erev Shabbos. Well, how are you telling me here until 12 months? Omar of his, the Midus Chasidus Shonikan. Over here, like we explained already in the Mishnah, Al-Pizis Gemara, when it says Afilu, he accepts after 12 months, it means a Chosid accepts it until 12 months. But a normal person only until Shiar L'Shulchani or Erev Shabbos in the villages. Says the Gemara, Yochi, if so, if we talk about Chosid, let's continue in the Mishnah. It says, Ein lo elo olav taroimis, he only has taroimis, he could only be upset with him. Leman, who's getting upset over here? Ile Chosid, if the Chosid is upset, oh, you gave it to me back after 12 months. Don't be a chosid and afterwards have taroimis. If meikadin, mechuyev to mekabelit, don't be mekabelit if you're going to be upset about it. If you could be a chosid, a real chosid is to accept it and not be upset. If you're being upset about it, so why don't accept it? So it must be means that the person who accepted it, that means not the chosid, the one who got the money, who's under the value, who's giving it back to the chosid, he's upset. So the Gemara, the one who accepted this money and it was undervalued, makes no sense. This guy is a chosid, he's willing to give you back your money after 12 months and you're upset about him. You should be very grateful that he's a chosid, that he's giving you back the money. What are you upset about? So the Gemara, this is pshat in the Mishnah. If it's someone else who's not willing to accept it, even though that he's not willing to accept it back after Shiar L'Shulchani or in the Kforim Ad Aryeh Shabbos, and he says, no, time has passed, I'm not taking this coin back. He could only be upset with this person, but he doesn't have any tviyah against him because he had enough time to find out that it doesn't have the right value. We went into the Mishnah that a coin that lost its value, you could be poide ma'aser sheni on it, ve'einu choishesh, and there's no problem, she'einu elo nefesh ra, because the person doesn't not willing to accept it is a stingy person, but for ma'aser sheni, you could be poide ma'aser sheni on it. We could see from here, a high man de moikim is someone who's makbid about money that loses its value and says, I'm not willing to accept it whatsoever, even for a lower value. Mikri nefesh ra, he's considered like a stingy person. And this is talking about where you can use it and be poided on ma'aser sheni, who the sagilahu, where it still circles in the market, we could still use it, maybe for low value, but it still has a value. But if it doesn't have a value anymore, for sure you can't be poided ma'aser sheni on it. The Mishnah who says that you can be poided ma'aser sheni on a coin that lost its value, it's a Aryeh to Chizkiah. If you have a coin that lost the 6 or the whatever value it is that you're not allowed to use it anymore, and you're coming to the money changer to change, or you want to use it as a coin, you could only use it at the value that it has. So if it lost the 6, you can't use it as a full seller. You have to use it as a seller that lost the 6 of it. A seller less a 6. But if you want to be mechalel piris ma'aser sheni on it, mechalel lo bi'ofa. You can be mechalel it as if it's a full good coin, as if it didn't lose anything. And we're going to see in a second why. My karma, what does this mean? Oche karma. This is pshat. Afal piki shebole porto b'shovya. Even though that when you come to change it or change it into small coins, you could only change it for its value that it lost. When you want to be poide ma'aser sheni on it, mechalel lo bi'ofa. You could mechalel it as if it's a good coin. We'll see why, or we'll see that we change pshat. Do you want to tell me that Chizkiah holds the mezalzelim b'ma'aser sheni, that you're allowed to give less chashivus to ma'aser sheni? Because you're saying here, even though that when using it as a coin to get change from it, you look at the real value that I lost. But when you're giving it to ma'aser sheni, you're giving it as if it's a good coin. That means you don't give cover to ma'aser sheni. Chizkiah said somewhere else, if I have, let's say, an apple of ma'aser sheni and it's worth less than a pruta, and I want to be mechalel to take it up to your shleim, but chilul can't be toifes unless when shava pruta. So what I do? This fruit that's worth less than a pruta, and it's choimish, whenever you mechalel moitz ma'aser you have to always add a fifth. Mechulol should be mechulol moitz rishonos. Should be mechulol on the money that yesterday when I had enough of a pruta and I was mechalel ma'aser sheni, it should be chal on that money. Why? Lefi she'iyeh efshor lel'odom le'tzamtzem moisov. When you come to ma'aser sheni to be poida, you can't. It's hard to do exactly to get the fruit to have exactly amount of money. So you always give a little bit extra to ma'aser sheni. So therefore, the ma'aser sheni I did yesterday, I had a bit extra that I wasn't poida on it anything. So therefore, now that I have less than the pruta, I could make a chal on that extra that I gave yesterday. But we could see clearly from Chizkiah that when a person's poida ma'aser sheni, he gives a little bit extra. And over here, we're telling you that a coin that lost its value, you give it as if it's a full value to ma'aser sheni. That you mezalzel in ma'aser sheni. It doesn't make any sense. It's a stira. So the Gemara might be offer, but Torah the offer the trace zili lo mezalzelin and bay. So pshat is the opposite. Until now, we explained that when you poider it in general, when you want to get change, you get to change to see the value. So let's say a coin that's has 24 little coins in it, and now it went down in value from 24 to 20. So it lost a 6. So if you're going to your friend, you could ask only for 20 coins for it, because that's the value of it now. But now, when you want to be mechalel ma'aser sheni on it, you can't ask 20 coins on it, only bi'ofa. What does bi'ofa means? For the full amount you'll get in your shleim. Because when you come to a money changer with a coin that's really many, have 24 coins in it, and it has only 20, some money changers are going to tell you, sorry, this is not a very good coin. I'm not even willing to give you 20. I'm only willing to give you 19 on it, because it's a bad coin. So when you come to your shleim, if you be mechalel it on 20 like you could do with your friend, you might come to your shleim with this coin, and the money changing in your shleim will say, no, I'm only giving you 19, and my sesheni will be nifsad. So therefore, when we say when we say b'turas yofa, it means b'tura that would be nice, would be for sure value that I'll for sure get in Yerushalayim. So if I look at this coin, even though that has 20 coins in it, if in Yerushalayim I might only get 19, so I could only be poida the value of 19 on it, and therefore I give my Sasheni extra chashivus, more than when I change it with my friend. The Gemara says the tray zili lo mizal zilinan bei. Not only that you're using a bad coin for Ma'aser Sheni, that you should also give the full value of it. No, you can't do two zilusa to Ma'aser Sheni. One that we let you do one that you could use a coin that's not full value, but you could only be poiter it for the amount that you for sure will get in Yerushalayim. And if that amount is less than you have in the coin, even though there really has a value of gold of 20 silver coins, you could only be poiter it on 19, because in Yerushalayim you might only get 19, and that's pshat in Chizkiah, and it makes more sense that Ma'aser Sheni we give more chashivus than what we give to a person that you're doing business with your friend and you're just changing it. Shkoyach, good moyed.